Well, good day, everybody. Good morning. What time is it? Ah, man, 9:30 or something like that. Forgot to look. But it's a lot of news today. And I think the temperature, believe it or not, even at this time in the morning, I think it's 11 degrees. So that's pretty amazing. Oh, there's some of these birds around I was telling you about in the last video. And they struck again. Look at this garbage around the garbage place. So, yeah, lots of news. I should really get into that. I don't have a super amount of time. So it is the 8th of March, or no, 10th of March, excuse me. Probably said that. But yeah, like I said, very busy. So let's talk what I was going to start here. Oh yeah, I was mentioning something. There's actually some really striking news. I'll get to that too. But I'm doing this kind of chronologically when I started reading this, so bear with me. And so there's a lot of things going on, say, with the EPA. Remember when Lee Zeldin, he came out and he said that there was a huge amount of corruption, lots of money stolen and things like that. And then he put out a lot of that, as you know, that Biden was using the EPA as well as some other agencies. Obviously, the USAID was the same thing, and they stick some taxpayers' money. They steal it basically from the American people. They stick it into these agencies, such as the EPA. It says, "Oh, everybody cares about the environment. Oh, the Environmental Protection Agency. Oh, climate change. Blah blah blah." And significant about that is, to be able to give himself cover to do that. Oh, Biden was saying, the biggest threat, I think Trump even said this just yesterday, the biggest threat to the world is climate change, not nuclear weapons. Like, everybody knows it's definitely nuclear weapons, but he's got to distract everybody and make them think the other direction. Oh, it's climate change. So then it's like, oh, okay, that's why I'm funneling at least tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions of dollars into the EPA, and most of that money, it went to it's just a huge amount of corruption. It went to all these different places, and a lot of it, a very large portion of it, was just funding Democrats for their political campaigns. Probably because a lot of rich people, they would never have funded the Democrats in the first place with all their stupidity and their LDGT and whatever crap that they come up with, So that's what they were doing. And in a nutshell, I don't know, I probably have a lot more written down here as far as details, but you guys can find this stuff yourself. But it's maybe I'll read it very quickly if I can find some numbers here. Yes, blah 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 blah. But yeah, so he's fighting Mother Nature. We have to fight Mother Nature, kind of, is what he's meaning. And I was living in a country before, and the prime minister, it was the same thing. We were having some floods and some hurricanes, things like that. And he said he wants generals or something. I don't remember, but it was just a really good excuse to steal people's money. It's sort of like a pandemic, how to steal people's money. It's, my God, they can't just outright steal it necessarily, even though sometimes they do. But that's just one thing here. Oh, there's a kitty with some mittens. I think he looks like he only has, he's got 3 mittens or 4. I don't know, you guys can see. Yeah, 4 mittens. What's up, little guy? I don't have any food with me, I don't think. Okay. I guess it's hundreds of billions of dollars. Oh, man. It's just unimaginable. $12 trillion for this submarine thing. It's like, where in the heck does this kind of money come from? And how come, and we would normally be seeing it where it's going. Lots of fabulously rich people. Zelensky, it starts to make me wonder. People are predicting, like Zelensky at one point in time, they knew that he had 2.5, and then very soon after that, maybe within a year, he had $5 billion. He was worth that much. And after that, everything went secret when people started talking about $10 billion, that he had $10 billion, he was worth that much. And somebody even said something, I think somebody in a comment, that he bought a French bank. I don't know about that. I hadn't heard anything otherwise about that. But, he's buying casinos and palaces and things like that all over the world, basically. So I'm kind of wondering, that he's got far more money than 10 billion. You remember when you heard about the Pandora Papers and the Panama Papers and all this, where these people that are already super rich, they had even far more than they were even attributed to having, you know. Cameron, I believe that was one of the main reasons why he had to resign as Prime Minister of the UK. Not necessarily because of this Brexit or whatever the heck his other reason was for trying to get out, or leaving, but I think it had other things to do. Look at this, had never been here before. These are some of these places where, you know, you have an apartment and you get a storage area as well. It goes along with the apartment. This sort of a thing right here, it's not for doing chin-ups. It's for, like, I guess, hanging your rugs. You hang your rug over the top. Very famous in a lot of these countries. You hang your rug over the top of it. You get a stick and you beat on it to get the dust out, rather than, you know, wasting vacuum cleaner bags and all that sort of crap, I guess. I find it a good idea, but carrying the rugs out, pain in the ass. Looks like some real old stuff here. Anyway, let's keep going here. Stop distracting me, damn it. Okay. Boy. Let's see. Yeah, it's mostly that there's a lot of these different agencies, NGOs and all this sort of stuff. A lot of the money went there to those places, and then they funneled it to the Democrats. But then a lot of times it went directly, you know, like, oh, we're solving the climate change. Just like building submarines. 12 trillion for submarines. Oh, we don't have any submarines. Oh, the money's all gone. What a bunch of useless idiots we all are. And it's like you elect representatives, but they're not representing you. They're friggin' cashing in. I mean, what a corrupt system. That's one reason why I really, really hate the Western system. It's far, far better over here. I don't know. I don't want to go into a rant on that, but it's not very difficult to figure it out. So you see why the Democrats are really furious right now. Why they're really furious about Trump, trying to find all this stolen money and the fraud and all this crap like that. Bernie Sanders is involved in it. Oh, the guy that was fighting against corruption. Man, what a front these guys can have. It's just incredible. Well, it was Bernie Sanders, I guess he's involved with Pfizer. Ursula von der Leyen, she was big into Pfizer. She cashed in big time. Got a whole bunch of these vaccines, and none of them were used. Probably got them for pennies on the. I don't have. The whole thing is just frauds all over the place. One of the people, I guess, uncovering this was Senator Josh Hawley, and I mean, you just see this guy when he's grilling people, you know, in these senator committee things. You know, it's like I'd hate to be grilled by that guy. He's pretty clever. So, yes. I'll tell you what. If this was in Japan, these leaders, all these friggin' Democrats, they'd all have to, I don't know if they force them to commit harikari, you know, with the sword or something, or if because their honor has been destroyed of being the douchebag thieves, you know, that they do it themselves. You know, I guess that's happened before in the past. And it's not just Biden, you know. A lot of this money, believe it or not, this was even stolen during Trump's time. Trump was probably unaware of this, of course. And, you know, they have so many different ways to cover this all up, to make it look like it's official and it's good and everything is working, but yet they're just stealing money. You know, that's how it's done. I've seen it in other countries. I've seen it in other countries. Like I said, I was in a small country, in a very small country. It's like a lot of the things that go on there is like under a microscope. And, you know, for example, in that country, let me just say, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they built an international airport. So they had an office where they were funneling money to political guys in this one political party, and this money was going to this place. And 10 years after the airport was built, they still had this office for building the airport, and they were still getting a bunch of money. And people are asking, well, the airport's already built, so why do we have these people getting these big salaries in an office for construction of the airport when it's already done? Yes, okay. EU democracy is dead. EU democracy is dead. I'll tell you, you know, we're seeing a lot of this stuff going on, and like I said, it was very strange that they even let Trump get where he's at. But you look at Romania, and you see what happened in Georgia, and you see what happened. If you guys are informed, if you know about Moldova, and Georgia, I don't even understand how it's possible that democracy, for the most part, actually won. And but what they're doing now in Romania, you know, most of this came down from Ursula von der Leyen. That's no secret. That was some weeks ago. But George Soros, there is an NGO also involved in this, And I guess that's the same NGO that they used in Georgia, that they used to destroy websites and things for the Alternative for Deutschland party, and in France to try to suppress all of these right-wing things. Hey, maybe it's also in YouTube. Maybe that's why mine is suppressed. And I heard other things from some YouTube vloggers just yesterday, and how, one guy, he got like 100,000 views in 15 minutes for something he was putting out once. This was during the pandemic, as you all know. And after that, they really went after him. And of course, he got a strike for that one. And a lot of people were deleted because of that sort of a thing. And this guy, he's a doctor, by the way, and it went wild. And I don't know. There's a guy that does something about, I think, I don't want to mention it. I don't want to, maybe he wouldn't like it, but he has some, like a piece of jewelry. He's doing something on YouTube about some jewelry thing. It's just a very casual sort of a deal, and he gets at least 1,000 or 3,000 views every time for jewelry. But look at my channel, and other people like this. It's like I told you about the one channel. I think I mentioned it yesterday or the day before. And these people are very good. I think it's called Ghost of Patrick Henry. You won't even find it. Put that in YouTube, and it'd be very difficult for you to find that site. And then you'll see they get 40 friggin' views in a week, and they're very good. And it's like, what? In here I'm crying and crying about my channel, how I'm suppressed, but these guys got it even much worse. It's incredible, And these are very good, and they're even doing being guests on other podcasts and things like that, which maybe gets a lot of views. I don't know, but it's like, well, if any of you guys find them, there's so few views, you can send them a message and say that I said on my video, like right here, how these people are heavily suppressed, and boy, much worse than me. So, sorry about that, guys. But man, you're really getting screwed over. So, what's going on? Calin Georgescu, as you know, he was the guy that won the runoff election in Romania at first, and then after that, the EU and they went ballistic, and Ursula von der Leyen ordered them, stop this guy, don't let him go, and all sorts of tricks. It's just way too much to talk about, but they're really going after this guy because he's not, it's very easy. He respects Trump, which is kind of a no-no, but the biggest problem, the biggest thing he is, and it all comes down, everything about this guy deals down to one major problem that they have with him. He does not hate Russia. And I say this so many times, and we have some certain things that you have to go with in the world and politics, and for a large extent, especially in the United States, you have to be pro-Israel and you have to be anti-Russia. If you do not have those two things, your life in politics is practically non-existent. So, and in the EU, if you do not hate Russia, you must be in the Hate Russia Club. If you're not in the Hate Russia Club, forget it. You have no chance. They somehow Fico is in there, and Orban, and they hate them with a passion. Why do they put so many bullets into Fico? He nearly died. And some people are actually coming out and talking about it. It's just incredible. They tried to kill Orban as well, and it's like, Georgescu is against shoveling a bunch of money and giving weapons to Ukraine. He's a peace candidate, a peace guy, like a lot of these other people are, and that's not allowed. That's not allowed because a lot of these people, Ursula von der Leyen, all these people, they make huge amounts of money with weapons. What is it? Lindsey Graham. Look at all of his top donors. They're all weapons contractors. I mean, jeez. They are there. These people are puppets of the military-industrial complex. Ursula von der Leyen, big with Pfizer. I mean, come on. I mean, just keep looking at... I don't know. I feel stupid of even talking about this because it's all so obvious. But putting it out, it's, in a way, it's like I said, I get it off my chest because these people piss me off so much. So, yeah. So, but a lot of this is done through Ursula von der Leyen, of course, and as you all know, Victoria Nuland, She said, F the EU. Makes me wonder, why did she even say that? She said it because she didn't know she was being recorded, and I guess that was with a conversation with Jeffrey Pratt. I said that, who was the ambassador to Ukraine from the United States and all that. And, and she's admitted twice that they put $5 billion into overthrowing the government, the democratically elected government of the Ukraine. And, there's just way too much stuff. Way too much stuff. And Ursula von der Leyen, Victoria Nuland, she basically shared the floor of a building in Ukraine with the Soros people. So they knew them very well and they worked with them. Ursula von der Leyen, she's hand in glove with Soros as well. All of these people are. It is not Kamala Harris was definitely the first person that endorsed Kamala Harris was Alexander Soros, and he's supposed to be the guy in charge now. I don't know. Is George still kind of running things or not? I don't know. But yes, that's these are all they're all the same, basically the same thing. One works for the other and all that sort of a deal. But all these people, when you even think about these people, it's not like it's a love Ukraine party. It's the hate Russia party, because they also love the fact that Ukrainians are dying. They love the fact that they're going to die to the last Ukrainian. Oh, that's fantastic. They want the Belarusians to die too. And it's really weird. The Belarusians, they don't even get it yet. They don't even get it yet. And that's one reason I really like Lukashenko. He's actually protecting these people, and it's kind of like he could say, they know not what they do. Oh gosh, how people are brainwashed. And somebody, a subscriber, wrote something yesterday, and I think we were talking about. He wrote because I was struggling with this word. I couldn't remember it yesterday, and I think he was saying that I think it's like a mass formation psychosis. That people, it's kind of like a crowd, and everybody gets behind something because, well, everybody else says it's good and they're acting that way, so then it must be true. So, and they're not dumb people. Some of them can't be dumb. So I'm going to go all in on that too. And that's one way, follow the crowd. Is one thing. And there's what's another one? It was mass formation psychosis. The word I was struggling with yesterday was cognitive dissonance, and it's like being wide awake but yet being hypnotized at the same time. It's like denying the nose on your face. He put up another one that I'd never heard before. If I can remember this, it was like cognitive bias. So that sounded very fascinating too. So and all of us are subject to that one too. So you get this bias on things, and sometimes it's really difficult to shrug it off. And that's one of the things I like to sort of stress doing this podcast. I mean, my channel is how we are forced into thinking this thing, and we're forced into thinking that Muslims are all evil, and I've seen a guy, I couldn't even believe it. Seemed like a decent guy and all that, and he's like this Christian, and he is so certain that Muslims want to strap bombs to themselves and go blow themselves up to kill people and all that. And it's like, man alive, and lots of other things about this guy, and he's 40 years old and got a lot of money and things that I've met a lot of people that have a lot of money, and it just kind of makes you wonder what the heck these guys are thinking and all that. Oh, here's some guy probably, I don't know, maybe watching me. I'll go somewhere else here. I'm sure he doesn't understand English anyway, but I think he was working over here just a minute ago, and maybe he saw me and wanted to see what I'm up to. People are curious, just like cats. Curiosity. Anyway, killed the cat. This. I even wrote it here. I said, many in Belarus, they're unaware, But those people over there, they hate the Belarusians too. They want to see the Belarusians die. Then and who's next in line? Oh, the Poles. The Poles are Slavic. It's like, and it's not. I'll tell you what. It's not the people of those countries. They're kind of led along by the nose. It's just like cognitive dissonance and mass formation psychosis. Led along. I remember in America, they were telling all these Polak jokes all the time, and we were trying, told to think, oh, Polish people are stupid and all that. But it's they got these things. They even have these things in the Soviet Union, that this part of the Soviet Union is this and the other part is that, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't really know. And but the Belarusians, they shouldn't be useful, stupid idiots. And I'm not saying that they are, but it's because that's what I'm saying. The human mind, I mean, it works this way, and it makes you wonder someday if most all the Ukrainians can one day wake up and realize, what's going on with them, that they're just being used as useful idiots. I mean, the poor people, poor Ukrainians. So, and they're cannon fodder, and Zelensky is part of it. He is perfectly willing to send hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians to their death for this ideology. It's really incredible. It's unbelievable. So let's keep going here. Well, I don't know. Maybe Europe. You see Ursula von der Leyen and Macron and all these people, Starmer, and it's like we're getting the impression right now that they're perfectly willing to risk millions of their own people's lives to get Russia, because we hate Russia. Get those damn Russians. Because look at what the Russians have done to us. What have they done to us? The Russians, well, then they did the, they have resources, and we need those resources, so we should hate them. I mean, that's what it's all about. I don't know. It's like, what the hell? I mean, nobody's ever asking these questions. Well, why do we hate the Russians? And these people hardly even have a military. And what was it? I think it was, Latvia? I think they're pulling out of this landmine convention thing, and they're pulling out of all these conventions against using cluster munitions and landmines, and of course all of them border Russia or Belarus. So they're going to. So let's start using the most dashed. I'll bet you they're going to get out of the chemical weapons convention. Maybe they've already gotten out of it. And I'll tell you what, Ukraine is using. I've said it many times. I don't stress it enough. A lot of people try to keep it hush-hush. It's so terrible to be even thinking about it. They're using chemical weapons on the Russians. I don't know how bad they are using them. I mean, which ones, like nerve agents and things like that, but they definitely use them against the Russians, and that's a known fact. That was put out by the Russians anyway. And I'm not allowed to be talking about what these research facilities were doing in Ukraine, and there's still some there, I guess, so let's not even talk about that. It's very difficult to create some kind of a weapon that only affects certain ethnicities. Let's just leave it at that. And anyway, this is a disease. It's an ideology, and it's called Nazism. To be hating people for their ethnicity. It's not fascism, but it's Nazism. And it's the same thing that's going on in Israel. Yes, it's, I don't know, it's more like a disease. And there's something else to say about this too. How much time? Oh, I got 22 minutes already done. Let me just keep going here. There is as you know, I said there's a big slaughter going on in Syria right now, and a lot of this is suppressed in mainstream news. But Russia and the United States, believe it or not, together, those two countries, in the United Nations Security Council, called an urgent meeting, like an emergency meeting, to discuss all of this crap that's going on in Syria. But as you all know, the United States is mostly controlled by Israel. And let's get into that a little bit more towards the end of my little talk here. So they're having this meeting. And and Ursula von der Leyen, let me switch gears here a little bit. She's coming up with a white paper, as people call it. And it's that right now they're referring to this as threat scenarios. And it's going to be about Trump. That's going to be part of it. And the biggest one, as I'm always stressing, the Hate Russia Club. Oh gosh, how can we leave that one out? The threat. Macron also said, what was it, just some days ago, that Putin is threatening, all of Europe, meaning France as well. Even I said France is way over there, but oh boy, we gotta. They haven't come to the point yet. I said it in that one video, but it's going to be coming to the point. We have to fight them over there before we have to fight them over here. And it's like, wow, where did I hear that one before? It kind of has a little bit of things. That kind of makes sense when you're talking about like the United States having to go all the way over to Europe to fight them there, to get Saddam Hussein before you have to fight them over in America. It's like all those times Russia has attacked Europe. And it's like, well, I don't know. You can't remember, okay, because it's not really happened. And I said, They're referring to him as a new Napoleon over there, Macron anyway, but it's Ursula von der Leyen. I don't know what the heck she's been smoking or what they put in the water with her anyhow. But she's getting a lot of money, and that's the main thing, what's going on there. So, and yeah, they're far away from being able to make any kind of a big significant attack on Russia anyway. And it's, I'll tell you what, in 2 years, that's when they're going to start saying, we have to go fight them, because they're going to be, if everything continues the way it is right now, even though they have even no money, I don't know, maybe they're going to turn on a printing press and then start creating money and passing it out and making more bombs. And, maybe that's one reason why they're going into the cluster munitions and the landmines, these dastardly kind of bombs, because I don't know if they can beat Russia in artillery. Apparently nobody in the world can. Russia's got the best artillery. And, of course, who else has Orishnik bombs? And I don't know. It's just madness anyway. Ursula von der Leyen, she's getting up, and I guess, as you see what it is, she wants to scare all the people of Europe, like hide your washing machines. Russia's going to come and take the chips out of your washing machines and refrigerators. I even saw that clip. It's amazing. And I think she even kept up, like 6 months later, she said the same thing again. Oh my God, it's not that she's an idiot, but she thinks everybody else are idiots. So she's telling everybody, don't think for yourself. Don't think for yourself. How dare let us? Oh, it takes energy to think. Oh, you got busy. You got other things to do, more important things to do. You don't have to think. We'll do it for you. We are better informed. We are the masters of the universe, and we know more than everybody else. We are the best. And so let us do your thinking for you. Don't worry. We'll protect you. We've got your back. No, who said that? No, that was Trudeau. He said that to the Canadians. We gotcha. No, we've got you. We've got you. We gotcha is what he was really trying to say. Just had to say it in a different way. Oh, boy. Yeah. I think she's even said this, Ursula von der Leyen. I was going to stress this point, too. She hasn't said it. I didn't hear her say it, but I'm sure she's probably said it recently, too. We're in this together. Obviously, they're saying this in these meetings with all these European leaders. We're in this together. And don't forget, also, I guess there's supposed to be, maybe it's Zelensky or maybe it's just his representatives, but Starmer, and I think it's Starmer himself and Zelensky, and of course they called to have a meeting very soon, because I think it's this week. Trump is hoping to iron out some sort of a deal for peace and the minerals and all that. And as you know, this is Monday today, so it's supposed to be happening this week. Wishful thinking. And Starmer wants to brief Zelensky and give him his marching orders. In other words, what you're going to do and what you're not going to do. I mentioned in a video, I think 3 or 4 videos ago, that the Russians suspect that it's actually, who is it? The handler of Zelensky is the British. And it's even starting to look like that. I was thinking that maybe the United States, maybe it was true even, that Biden was handling Britain, and then Britain in turn would handle Zelensky, kind of a proxy puppet, a puppet scenario. But I don't know, maybe Trump, since he's bowing out of the game, and it's all, just all for our perspectives and to see how we see this sort of thing. And yeah, but for the most part, democracy. After Ursula von der Leyen says, you will not let this guy run for election, so that's democracy. And Ursula von der Leyen, she talks about democracy. Gosh, it's just like, oh, no, I don't know. But I think this thing is this NGO that Soros uses to assist in overthrowing. How do I say? That's not the one for overthrowing governments, but to steer the elections, to meddle in the elections, to in other words, destroy democracy. I guess this is called Avaaz, Avaaz. I don't know. That's what I read somewhere. So, but another big thing. And this is actually really big. Talking about Syria. And like I said, this was something that I just now read, and it must have been in the past half day or so that this like maybe afternoon in the stateside or whatever. I don't really know which analyst because it's just fresh right now, but a lot of what is going on. And I've also, how many times, even the video yesterday, I mentioned this book called Every Spy a Prince, and it's a very telling book, and the philosophy of the authors is coming true again. And let me explain how and what I'm getting at. Well, apparently a lot of these experts, not military, but these political analysts, what they're coming up with right now is they're saying that a lot of this, what's going on in Syria right now, is to get the Shiites and the Sunnis to fight and kill each other. And on one side, I guess it's the Shiite side, a lot of these, in Syria at least, are the Alawites and the Christians, because they're the ones getting slaughtered by these Sunni people. And of course Saudi Arabia is Sunni, but I'm not saying that Saudi Arabia is behind this, because like I said, if you read this book, at least at the end of the book, I don't know, and I was thinking that this guy was, like I said, admitting to all these crimes that, and exposing the crimes of Israel, but I guess what he was writing in this book is that he's proud of all that stuff. And he said that one of the biggest successes of all of Israel was to get Christians and Muslims to fight and kill each other. And it's very strange that these Israelis that have taken over a large portion, and they're building lots of military bases in the former Syria, they're not getting attacked. They're not getting attacked by fundamentalist Muslims or anything. But yet some Muslims are attacking and killing the other Muslims. It sounds very much like what was going on with ISIS. The ISIS people were destroying Muslim shrines, and they were killing Muslims. And they never were killing Jews. They were killing Muslims and Christians. Lots of Christians, by the way. I should have stressed that. Mostly Christians and other Muslims. But they weren't attacking any Jews, And I'm not ranting against Jews. Certainly not. But it's very odd, isn't it? Especially since they talked about how they were, in that book, Every Spy a Prince, of how successful they were. The guy that wrote that book, there's two of them, and one of them, he was part of this, Israel had three main intelligence agencies, and one of them, I guess they stopped it because the mission of that agency was to steal nuclear secrets, mostly from the United States. I'm sure John Pollard was part of it, and luckily they haven't let that guy out, because he stole huge rooms full of nuclear secrets, and that's how Israel has nuclear bombs right now, and everybody's trying. It's the elephant in the room. You're not supposed to see it, that they have nuclear weapons, and then these talks coming up. It doesn't include Israel's, and there's all these predictions. How many do they have? I guess most people saying they have 500 nuclear weapons and missiles now, and who knows? It's all secret. We're not allowed to see it. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. That sort of a deal. And yes, but there was talk recently. It looked like there was reconciliation between Iran, which leads to the large extent the Shiite, and Saudi Arabia, and they were sort of, they were talking to each other, and obviously some powers in the world. You can figure out at least one of them, maybe two of them. They didn't like this, so that's one reason for this big fight now that's going on in Syria. And of course, lots of Christians. They've always been trying to kill off the Christians. I'll tell you what, the United States government, the people in the U.S. government, even the ones that say they're Christians, they want the Christians dead. Trust me on that. Trust me, they hate Christians. They're not even Christians at all. It's maybe sort of like President Johnson. You guys remember President Johnson? Well, it turns out he was Jewish. He was not Christian. He was Jewish. He was Jewish the whole time. He was a closet Jewish guy. And again, I'm not going after Jews, because there's some of the best people in the world, believe it or not. It's like, Duke, how can you say that? You're talking bad about Jews, and then you say some of the best people are Jews. And it's true. It's true. So it's not the Jews. It's mostly this Zionism. It's what do you call? You want to call them Zio-Nazis? These are Nazis. These are Zio-Nazis. I don't think they even practice any real form of Judaism. So yes, but anyway, a lot of this is has been put out by, believe it or not, even Hillary Clinton. She says that that's what the whole idea is about, you know? Boy. And there was one thing, and I know I wrote it down here. Why isn't it here? But I remembered it anyway. I probably, because I skip over these things, I don't read everything while I'm telling you guys the news and all that. But there was one thing, and I heard a Muslim cleric say this, and it's always stuck with me. And it's maybe good for you guys at least to consider. I'm not saying you have to believe anything I say, or, you know, it's most of this, you just look this stuff up yourself. I'm just putting this stuff out. And a lot of things that's weird that I say, and then they start talking about it in the news, sometimes even a week later. But I put it out here first. I don't know if a lot of you have noticed that yet or not, but I'm getting this from other sites and things like that. I'm not, you know, a lot of this is my own opinion, and sometimes when I put my opinion in, turns out that that's exactly accurate, and it comes about that way as well from these people. But there was one thing, and let me just tell you this, and it's maybe just something for you guys to keep in your head, like I kept it in my head, and there's maybe some wisdom in that. And I'm not sure if this is in the Quran. I was thinking maybe somebody said this is part of the Quran or whatever, or maybe it's in the Haditha, which is these holy writings, you know, mostly about Muhammad and all this. But anyway, some of this wisdom says, and I don't even know who said this, but it says that the Jews are your friends. Like I said, this might be in the Quran. The Jews are your friends. And it says, the Christians are your friends. But when you have Jews and Christians who are friends, those are your enemies. And part of that, I was trying to think, well, what does that mean? And it's the best thing that I can come up with is I'm thinking of, you know, and it's sad, but a lot of Jews, they hate Jesus. They see that Jesus is the ultimate traitor. So they hate Jesus. And I've seen myself, you know, people saying if Jesus ever showed his face on the earth again, that they would kill him again. You know, and if Jesus showed his face, that must mean that he's a god or something. And I don't even say that he's a god. But anyway, but there's some Christian theories and all that sort of thing, and I'm not going to get involved, and I'm not going to pass any judgment on these religions or nothing like that. But anyway, that kind of tells you a lot, doesn't it? When these people, it's like the Hate Russia Club. It's Hate Jesus Club. Where the hell is going on? Where does all this hate come from? People get fanatic. I don't know. I try not to get extreme in anything, and I don't know. And people should catch themselves when you start finding yourself getting consumed by hate with something. You should say, well, maybe I'm hurting myself. Maybe I better kind of slow down and at least try to analyze what the heck is in my head right now. But anyhow, what I'm just trying to say is that whatever, if that was written, and if it was written like, I don't know, 800 years ago or something like that, it's very telling and it's very revealing. So something to be careful about. And I'm hoping that you understand that. If, you know, they say that, at least whoever wrote that or said that, whatever their wisdom was all about, it's like, you know, it's like saying a Christian that is good friends with a Jew, I think meaning that the Jews hate Jesus, but yet a Christian is supposed to love Jesus, means that that's not really a Christian, and that Jewish person is nothing but a con artist and trying to use the Christian as a useful idiot. So, like I said, if that was written a long time ago, it's like somebody looked into the future and they see what the Israelis are doing to the Americans right now that pretend themselves to be Christians, and maybe that even includes Trump. But as you know, there are congressmen that are vastly more loyal to Israel than they are to the United States. They got Israeli flags and everything. There was something like that even on the internet just yesterday I saw. I didn't even read it because I already know about it, you know. And these people, you know, it's like they're dedicated, they're everything to Israel, and they're supposed to be American representatives. But anyhow, I'm just talking. So this is like a 40-minute video. Unfortunately, I'm putting this up a little bit too late, which means, you know, YouTube, they often spend 5 or 6 hours to upload these videos. You know, I guess they really love me. Man, so that means my phone, I'm not going to be able to use it probably when I'm going to class today. But that's how it is, you know. But I find it very important information. I hope you guys liked it. And put a like. Definitely put a like. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Send this to other people. You know, it's great. I'm not out for money. I'm just out to get the word around, and it helps my ego a little bit if I get more people watching and all that. That's mostly what it's all about. Okay, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one. So bye-bye. Great weather, by the way. Bye-bye.